So remember, I believe they hacked into the big three credit agencies to get date of birth, social security numbers of all Americans, and then they implanted bots uh, and broke into Homeland Security databases, and then was able to narrow it down to people that worked in the Pentagon as far as communication networks, telecommunication systems to hack into government. This is how the Russians do it. Uh, they use chatter mining, artificial intelligence to implant bots. I believe that's what they did when they hacked into the Google. Uh, I believe it was Google they hacked into, and they did chatter mining. And you got to understand these bots. They can be sleeper bots, meaning sleeper bots is when it's malicious software written in to the computer system of a device, but the computer system of the device and the language of the programming computer language software doesn't look at normal. So to a computer programmer, he can review the whole computer software encrypted systems, and it all look normal. And so these sleeper bots, they only appear when they're activated. So when they're activated, that's when the you notice the difference in the programming systems of a computer or device, the abnormalities of it. So by hacking into Google to get the all of Americans' communication accounts on Google, and then hacking into the big three credit agencies and getting everybody's social security numbers, date of birth, uh, addresses, then you can narrow down. The Russians can narrow down members of family members of and friends of Congress representatives, Senate representatives, and then they put sleeper bots into their devices, whether they be phones, tablets, laptops, and these bots are working on artificial intelligence. But eventually, what it's doing is data mining its way towards the Pentagon or Homeland Security and into the Pentagon, and that's what the end result is designed for, to sabotage uh, weapon technologies. At least that's how I see what the Russians were doing, or what the Russian was up to when they were doing bots and doing these hacking into the credit agencies, hacking into the Google data supercomputers, hacking into is to implant these bots that that it's almost impossible for a computer programmer to decipher these sleeper cell bots, these artificial bots that is so hard to decipher that it's basically impossible for individual computer geeks to be able to tell what devices have what uh, malware sleeper bots in them. So any device in the United States, any computer, any laptop, any smartphone can have these bots still implanted in American software gadgets. So when these bots are activated, that's when you can infiltrate communication signals. You can infiltrate uh, and network to zero in to targets like senators, congressmen, uh, or Congress representatives. So by being able to infiltrate the communications of friends and families of Senate representatives and Congress representatives, you can start narrowing down uh, and eavesdropping on what's being said behind closed doors, and you could take that information and then know exactly what accounts you need to hack around people that work into the Pentagon. So people when the people that work in the Pentagon, then the Russians will be able to, once they know what the Pentagon is up to, then they take those sleeper bots and they activate it with uh, authorized military staffers and civil defense representatives inside the Pentagon. So it's a trickling effect. It's like a net. They toss a net towards the hurricane. You know how you toss a net to catch fish in the oceans. You can toss a net and catch fishes. Well, imagine the whole country having a net tossed out, and they pull back in the network systems, communication systems, and they filter it all the way back down to singularity within the Pentagon to get their espionage from America's cutting edge weapons or America's cutting edge missiles technologies. So this is what I'm explaining to you how it works. That's how espionage work when it comes to computer hacking. And so that's how the Russians were doing it. So when the CIA and the FBI was warning Trump of the Russian interference in America's telecommunication grids, Trump was saying, I have no reason why should I doubt Putin. You know? And that was frustrating for me. For him to not respect the intel community. And behind his back, Putin was making him look like an idiot. You know? And so anyway, that's how they do it. So these networks, first you get the Google account of all Americans. Then you hack into the credit agencies. You get the birth number, the birth date of birth, social security number, and then you implant these bots in the world and the communication web network of America, and you zero into members of the Senate, members of the Congress, and their family members, and their neighbors, and friends of neighbors, and then you chatter mine their communications, and then you zero in and you hack. You zero into the members of Congress, their phones, their private phones, when they go home, when they speak to their family, when they text. You get those communications and you hack into their IP address, so meaning their internet address, email address. So once you get that, and you hack into their modems, their telecommunications modem, meaning their cable television modems, their internet modems. And so you take all that information and you start building up a network of clouds that are eavesdropping in real time with sleeper bots. And then all that is working towards one goal, is to narrow in to who when as a computer, as somebody that's developing technology for artificial intelligence, I know how they think. So when the Russians zero into the Pentagon, is to zero into exact targets of compartmentalized people that are working on special development defense technologies inside the Pentagon. And that's how the Russians were able to hack into the hypersonic missile technologies of America's designs and America's input, as far as how advanced the Pentagon had gotten, to the point where Putin used the information and reversed engineer it and improved it, and was able to outrace America with the development of their advanced hypersonic gliders and hypersonic plasma missiles, that ionic propulsion systems. And so they ran with it, And for me, for to Trump to say I have no reason to doubt Putin, and for him to say in Russia, if you're listening, and for him to say after the fact, hey, find Biden's have a laptop. At the end of the day, it makes me think of if Trump had all the presidential intels, why he kept on cozying up to Putin, why he kept on uh, stepping on the CIA and stepping on the neck of the FBI, why he kept on subverting the CIA and the FBI. Like, it makes me think, like, is he stupid or is he committing espionage? Like, to me, he's blurring the lines. So when the FBI raided Mar-a-Lago, I'm pretty sure that the FBI and the Pentagon and the President Biden had a good reason for claiming uh, and insisting to reclaim those documents that are compartmentalized. And so when the FBI showed up the first time, and Trump uh, say, "Here, this is all I got, and there's no more. I gave it all to you." And when the Trump lawyer said that, but then the FBI found out contrary to it, and they came back and found a whole bunch of more archives, and then Trump is like, "They belong to me." You get what I'm saying? It begins to look suspicious. And now it's been twice that they went to the Mar-a-Lago, and now they found out that there's 42 folders that are missing, empty folders that the reports are missing. It's like Trump hid it again and kept on hiding documents. And see, I'm concerned when it comes to directed energy weapons, because Russia was targeting Trump's administration with directed energy weapons, and he was targeting Trump and his administration, his immediate administration. And so I think that to me this is disturbing me, you know. Uh, and so for Trump to not comprehend his situation in depth and understand that these are complexitive issues, that you should let the FBI and the CIA guide you, and and if they have to, if you impede them, if you are caught red-handed, anyway obstructing, if you are politically lenient towards Putin and you keep on compromising this government and the intels and all of our national archives when it comes to national security is in jeopardy because Trump keeps on insisting that he should be piling up to Putin, and he's all blinded by fossil fuel deals and real estate deals. He doesn't have a comprehension, wisdom to understand how Putin has played him and made him look like an idiot, at the same time compromising him. And he's scared, running from Mueller report, running from the Ukrainian impeachment, and he's hiding all these archives in Mar-a-Lago because of that. And for that reason, he's not only obstructing the criminality behavior of his business racketeering while in the White House, but he's also jeopardizing. And you understand, Russia. If Russia can do this with hacking, Russia can put anybody in Mar-a-Lago to be a maid, a butler, a housekeeper. They can put anybody. They can hack into all of the phone people, all of the people that are working in Mar-a-Lago as Trump staffers, his waiters, his lawn keepers, his people that clean, maids, housekeepers. They can even hack into Mar-a-Lago's H&R department, the people that are the office that's in charge of hiring new employees, and they can put a resume in there and submit a Russian spy to be a housekeeper, to be a maid, to have access to Trump's living quarters. not only in Mar-a-Lago, but at the Trump Tower. That's how easy it is for Russians to infiltrate the information they need to get. As far as them breaking into Mar-a-Lago, and it's easy for them to hack into a system and put a sleeper spy in Mar-a-Lago or in Trump Tower. And Trump keeps on hiding documents, like it's doing him any good. The Russians, they spy into this network systems. They hack into Trump's H&R department. They submit in applications for people that want to get jobs at Mar-a-Lago or at Trump Towers. Housekeepers, maids, butlers, chefs, people that work in the grounds as keeping the lawn keepers, whatever. They submit in spies as portraying to be maids that are there to work to clean up the living quarters of Trump. Butlers that are there to weigh hand and foot on Trump. And they get access to these files and these papers, and they feed it off to Russia again. You keep on seeing how it's just a vicious cycle. It keeps on repeating and repeating and repeating. So for 42 folders to be empty, you never know what happened to them. You don't know if staffers that worked at Mar-a-Lago or at Trump Towers took them as spies because they were implanted spies by Russia or China. You don't know. It's as simple as hacking into the H&R department at the Trump organization to implant uh, living quarters maid or butler. Or you never know. Maybe Trump took those 42 folders and emptied it out, thinking it was his incriminative evidence that he was hiding against the Justice Department. So for Trump trying to hide his Nixon tapes, if you will, or his dirt while he was doing 4 years as the president, uh, I don't know why those 42 folders are empty. Maybe that he's so compromised with Russia that he's afraid of going to prison. He's afraid to be executed, probably for treason of national security, damaging the national security of this country. I don't know what's going on through Trump's head. Psychoanalyzation of what's Trump's cognitive conscience. But now for 42 folders to be empty, I wonder what happened to those folders. Was it a spy that took them? Did Trump hand it over to Russia because he was so compromised that he was scared for his life and he didn't want him and his children to go to jail? You never know what's going on through Trump's head. So why those 42 folders are empty and Trump doesn't know where's it at, neither does his lawyers. That leads me to believe that they're stalling and they're guilty of something. And they can't plead the fifth about it. They shouldn't be able to plead the fifth about it. They should be able to cough up what happened to those 42 folders. The contents that was in those 42 classified folders. Because what was on, if we don't correct this issue, it would only keep on snowballing and getting bigger and bigger as it goes. So it's like a snowball at the top of a snow-capped mountain. Eventually, it will be a avalanche that will weigh down on the agencies of national security of this government, that they won't be able to handle the avalanche. As far as being compromised with security threats that leave the intelligence agencies blinded to a national security attack. by a foreign adversary in times of war. So for Trump, you gotta understand the FBI went one time. They asked him kindly, "Hey, what's all these classified evidence, classified documentations that are compartmentalized that is in Mar-a-Lago?" He said, "Oh, here goes the boxes. That's all of it." His lawyer signed off, said, "That's all of it." And the FBI had a chatter mind and spy on the communication signals to realize that there were more boxes in Mar-a-Lago. And so they went back with a subpoena. This time they went in by force and took what was in the premises of Mar-a-Lago. But now they found 42 folders that are empty, and Trump still acts like he don't know nothing about it. Now, when it comes to hypersonic missile technologies, and you know the engineering concepts of these technologies, you can find the weakest point in America's arsenal as far as the glitches in America's designs, the blueprints in America's designs, how to circumvent America's hypersonic missiles. So you can start to see that it keeps on mounting and mounting like an avalanche. And eventually, in times of peril, America will be caught short-handed. And so to have a president not to recognize the detriment of the dangerous games he's playing with these classified folders, and to take it nonchalant, to have balls to say, "Hey, Putin, can you do me a favor, find Hunter Biden's laptop? Or find more dirt on Hunter Biden?" Like, he has a childish mentality not to understand the games that they're playing with a scenario of nuclear destruction. As far as these papers are classified, and to not recognize the way the national security apparatuses works of these agencies, to not have a good in-depth understanding of it, to have it in Mar-a-Lago, knowing that Russia can get at it anytime they want it to. The way I'm explaining to y'all, that's how Russia can get at it anytime they want it to. And to have 42 folders that are empty, and Trump scratching his head, say, "Yeah, I don't know what happened to them." That is real frustrating. Because it's people through the shadows that have to find their way through the darkness to realize what Trump is putting them through, as trying to counterbalance, counteract the Russians, the Chinese, and the North Koreans. And so for Trump hiding his obstruction of the Mueller report, his obstruction of the impeachment of Ukraine, and to implicate that with national security by taking these documents to Mar-a-Lago, by mixing up these papers and these reports that can lead Russia and China to an advantage of hyper missile technologies, or the programs, or the people that are in charge of the programs, for them to be able to network and find out America's weak point in their designs and their blueprints. That's where they're getting at. So I'm curious to find out why Trump keeps on playing ignoramus, and now 42 folders are empty. And he acts like, "Hey, I don't know what, I gave you everything I have." Like, yeah, so 42 folders are empty. Anyway, what's going to keep on happening is that the FBI, the NSA, going to keep on hacking into all their communication systems of Mar-a-Lago, Trump Towers. Everybody around Trump is going to get hacked. And until we find what we need, we're not going to stop. At the end of the day, we will find what's in those 42 folders. At least For a person that develops capabilities that make Russia and China look like amateurs because I'm so advanced in my fields, I take it personal. And I have no doubt that the FBI and the CIA and the NSA will do what they have to do with Trump to get a resolution to this issue as far as him playing childish games with classified information. You know, I thought Nixon made a big fiasco of sitting in the Oval Office thinking to himself, should I burn the tapes or should I turn them over? Should I burn the tapes or should I turn them over? I'm not willing to turn it over. While the committees were having the Watergate committee hearings, that's what Trump reminds me at Mar-a-Lago with these classified papers. For his vanity, he's in jeopardizing the whole national security, not only of this country, but the world when it comes to hypersonic nuclear attacks and how our adversaries can undermine America and NATO's hypersonic technologies. Is to keep on playing guessing games, to keep the FBI and the CIA and the Pentagon playing guessing games with Trump is frustrating. In the shadows, I'm pretty sure they're frustrated. But they know how to go about it, though. Yeah. They will keep on spying into the signal technologies of Trump and his families and his friends and his allies and whatever they have to do to realize why this obstructionist leader keeps on dementedly seeking power, seeking power, trying to grasp on to power at all costs necessary. Something in him ticks that he thinks he's going to be the strong man, the king of the republic, as Steve Bannon thinks. Something in him thinks that he's invincible. He makes me remember John Gotti when he kept on coming out the courthouses and waving his fists around and people applauding because he kept on beating the system when it came to the legal system. And to one day, the Teflon was not Teflon no more. It was Velcro and everything stuck. That's what Trump's remind me of with his court hearings. He comes out to his rallies. He waves his hands around his fists like he's an untouchable. Like for him, he thinks he can never be got by the legal system. Like nothing can hold him down. Eventually, he's playing these dangerous games. Something has to give. It's not going to be the Union of America and Europe when it comes to defense. And I take it personal because I think of all the countries around the world should be defended from nuclear weapons. I don't discriminate when it comes to defending the whole world against nuclear weapons. I take a strong line. And I don't even like to explain how strong of a line I take. So I'm not picking and choosing sides. I'm neutral. I defend all the countries in the world neutrally from nuclear detriments, nuclear attack, nuclear destruction. I'm not aligned. I don't take no sides and abandon any nation when it comes to the perils of nuclear attacks. So I take a strong line towards in the shadows. And I weave out my opponents quick. I'm here to safeguard the world from nuclear incoming missiles. And so when I offer the world an umbrella against nuclear destruction, hey, in the shadows, I pluck out flunkies, punks like Trump that think that this is a game.